introduction to you before I get into the questions?
Sure. Well, I'm Samson On The Beat. I'm originally from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, 29-year-old music producer. I've produced music in every genre, from country to pop to hip hop to Brazilian funk. I want to thank you, Jess, for having me on the show, and Jess FM. It's pretty cool. This would be my very first radio interview, and I'm super stoked to talk about, like, you know, the manifestation and the mindset needed to be able to make your life change. Because, you know, like I never really made it happen with music. It was something I've been doing for a long time, you know, 15, 16 years. And basically, and basically, you know, it was a whole bunch of loss after loss after loss after loss. And it was so hard to stay motivated and want to do it when all it did was just disappoint you. But, you know, I always found my way back to it. And I'm really glad that I did, because in the breaks that I was taking off, I was learning how to change my mindset, get a millionaire mindset. And I was on a quest. I called it for millionaire mentorship. So over the course of the years and stuff, and I feel like it's all just had a big part in what's happening today. So
yeah, I love that. I love, like, about your story too, is through all the hardship, which we'll get into in a bit, it drew you. Like, I feel like people that don't go through pain and through, you know, everyone goes through pain to some magnitude, but when it's literally life or death, you know, being on the streets, not being on the streets, like when you're literally 1 foot into like death's door, you know, you have to literally search deep down in your soul, and you have to find a meaning for your life and your purpose. And for that for you, that's obviously music, but not only that, but you got to learn so, like, I get goosebumps, like, so much about manifestation and the law of attraction. And you, instead of, you know, having this pity party, you know, why me, blah, 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 you know, you searched for answers. And I think that's really important. What I want to do on this show, it reaches such a great volume of people, is I want people to hear, you know, the hope and the resilience. And, you know, everyone can get, you know, sometimes the shitty end of the stick, but it's what we do with it. You know, it's so cliche, but you are the master of your own life and your own thoughts. And, like, that's what me and Samson met up on Zoom just last week, just to, like, get a little feeler out for him and stuff, to see if it would be a good fit. I instantly knew that he should be on this show. And the one thing we connected on was manifesting. And he actually saw one of my first episodes with Trish, if you guys have been keeping up with my talk show radio show. And yeah, tell them a little bit about that. Like, when you watched that show, like, what did it make you feel like, and why is that really why you added me? You know what I mean? Like, how we connected.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Basically, I'm never, well, first of all, I'm always on Facebook 24 hours a day. It's very, very time consuming and very, very draining sometimes. But I was on the watch section of Facebook, which I'm never on. I don't understand why, but I do now, right? Because of the manifestation. Right? And of course, right at the top was the video of you interviewing Trish, and all that caught my eye was the word manifestation. And all of a sudden I looked at it and I was like, oh, wow. I was like, what? Like a show about manifestation? So I watched it. I'll admit, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I was like, wow. I was like, I can't believe that there's, you know, people out there, you know, talking about this stuff. I was like, I really want to be a part of this, because I feel like I could help people, you know, anybody that's had a wind of the law of attraction, and have tried to put it to work and just realized, oh, it doesn't work, and then stop. You know what I mean? I feel like I could give them a few pointers that was to what helped me be consistent and how, like, actually mold my mindset and to be able to, you know, be like this. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
How would you define, in like a quick, short little summary, like someone that's never heard of the law of attraction? Like, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that in science class, they say that energy it can't be destroyed, or, you know, it can't change forms. It can't do any of that. I can't remember what the actual saying is, but everybody kind of remembers it. And basically that's that energy is the law of attraction. We all operate on an energy. Like, there's something that makes the heart beat. It's like, there's something that makes the muscle flex. It's, you know, there's something that powers the subconscious, and it's all, and it's all intertwined. Yeah. It's all intertwined. So.
Yeah, the subconscious is, I was actually just at Trisha's house before this. She's like my mentor, and we were talking just about the subconscious and how incredibly powerful it is. And yeah, she's an amazing woman. I'm so glad that people got to hear her story. But so let's go back to you. So you're from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, which is a pretty small town from what you've told me. How many people live there?
There's about 35,000 to 40,000 because like we're called the Gateway of the North, so you have to go through Prince Albert in order to get. Except Prince Albert's not even really north in Saskatchewan; it's about central. But to get anywhere further north, you have to go through PA, and it's like a lot of the northern communities of reserves and the lakes and stuff like that. So
yeah. And how did you first get into music? Like, I mean, what drew you to music, I guess, and how did you really get into the producing side of things? Because I know everyone loves music, it's a universal language, but not many people. I feel like you have to be super creative, super right. I think it's right-brained to right-brained, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I suck at science, but what you decided to actually get into it and start, because that takes a lot of courage, and I don't think people realize that. It's not just, but when you have a passion for something, I guess, for me, I just did it because I loved it, but it is not an easy thing to get into.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, you have to decide whether you got cojones or not, and put yourself out there in front of other people. But I don't know exactly what age I was, but Much Dance 2001, The Real Slim Shady was the song that changed my life.
Oh my gosh.
So of course, naturally, I wanted to be just like Eminem for a long time. And that was right around the time 8 Mile came out. And so, I mean, I was a huge Eminem fan and 50 Cent and his whole camp. But it wasn't until the 10th grade, I was living in Melfort, Saskatchewan, which is even smaller than PA. There was only about 5,000 people there. And it's a very, very country type town. So I went to school with guys who wore cowboy boots and belt buckles to school. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then so there's me coming from PA, with a little bit of saggy pants, some long hair and a crooked hat. I automatically became the outcast. But that was short-lived because everybody ended up getting to know me and I ended up becoming like a really popular person out there. And then, so it was that's what gave me the courage. You know what I mean? Because it was then that I decided I'm going to make a CD. Because I went around and I asked everybody that I liked at school. I was like, if I made a CD, would you buy one for $5? Made a big list. And then I ended up having about 60 names. And I was like, yeah. And we ended up getting the CDs printed. But of course, I was only, how old was I? 15 or 16. So I didn't have a whole bunch of money. But, and then of course, I had a partner at the time. I reached out to him over the internet. I'd never met him before, but he was the best in PA. And so I reached out to him and for mentorship. So this is also part of that millionaire mentorship. Yeah. So he actually ended up becoming my best friend. I pretty much call him my brother. He's still my friend to this day. And basically, yeah, I just decided that if I was ever going to do it, that I got to do it now because, nobody puts out their first CD and gets signed or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And I mean, I just wanted to, there was something about it. I spent a lot of my time, especially in that, high school and stuff, I dated girls or whatever, but it never really lasted long. Never had those long relationships. So I always had to find something to keep me busy in my spare time. And before I knew it, it was music that was taking over pretty much all of my spare time. And I loved doing it. I would love to stay up late as I could and still work on it. And I remember my mom used to come downstairs and, you need to go to bed, you need to go to school. I'm like, but I just want to finish this beat, or I just want to write. I got 2 bars left, Mom, 2 bars. So
I love that so much. It's so amazing to hear people's passion for music when you share the same passion. I just think it's so inspiring. I want to get into a bit of your story just because we don't have hours upon end of this, unfortunately. Maybe we'll do a part 2 though or something, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah. I only plan, like I told you on the Zoom, a week in advance, so I don't have anyone next week yet. So if this takes longer, I just think your story is really important and needs to be told. So So the obvious question would be like, what are your hugest adversities you faced in life? I know you've told me already, but I think if you're open to sharing it with everyone watching, I think if anyone's struggling at home, please open up your heart, be non-judgmental. It's absolutely incredible how far this man has come. So I'm just gonna let you kind of just tell them a little bit of your like testimony, I guess, and your story and where you've come from and how far you have come.
Okay, cool. Well, basically, I'm 29 years old. So right after high school, I graduated when I was 17. I graduated early. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I was making music at the time. I was also a drug dealer at the time, so I was pretty forward on that's how it was going to do my fund my music career or whatever. And it was just weed, guys. Don't worry, the government does that now. But basically, we ended up getting busted, and I had to figure out my life again, and I ended up in debt with some pretty bad people. But so my dad came home one day and he slapped a college program down and said, you better figure it out. So I wanted to go to school for music, obviously.
Yeah.
But my dad thought that was a bad idea and that I wouldn't make a living and that I would be struggling and whatnot. So, he suggested a trade. So I picked mill writing, which was the most highly paid trade that the college offered. I had no idea what it was about. And up until this point, I had never picked up a wrench in my life other than to tighten my skateboard screws or whatever. So that was like a huge, but I think necessary stage in my life because the first 2 years went really well. I had steady work and, I made almost $100,000 each year. But it was after that I ended up struggling, and I traveled all across the country and whatnot to try and find work. And I've even moved as far as Saskatchewan to BC for a job that didn't work out. Yeah. And all kinds of stuff like that. And I was getting to a point where I wasn't sure what to do anymore. I was getting really, really down on myself that, why isn't this work? Why can't I make this work? I don't understand why it shouldn't work for me. And then I got hooked on crystal meth for 9 months. And it wasn't until I got clean off of meth, it was either go to rehab or give up my car keys to my parents. And I stayed at my best friend's place and they wouldn't let me out of the house for 11 days while I dried out. Which was fine because I would wake up, I would eat something and I would go back to bed. I did that for 11 days straight.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was right then that I knew that I needed something to keep me busy. I didn't have a job at the time. And I wanted to stay away from the people because I would always make a few bucks, driving someone here. And it's all bad news stuff. But so I looked towards the beats. I've kind of been making beats off and on. I was mostly pursuing rap prior to this. Right. But I looked to the beats to keep me busy. And all of a sudden, and I started a brand new Facebook and this is all these are all actually really big points as to for branding and stuff. I'm actually doing a producer course, working on it right now. And it talks a lot about this stuff and why this stuff was detrimental or was crucial towards where I am right now. But
everyone's getting great information.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, listen up.
So basically, people started paying attention, and all of a sudden I got my logo done, and my logo has been 3 years in the making. This Pikachu here, it all started as a vision a long time ago, and I was working on it, and it's so cool to see it all come together. And then before you know it, COVID hit, and right at that time too, me and my dad weren't getting along very well. And then especially once the whole COVID thing hit, he's got health problems. So, I really don't hold it against him, but he got a little paranoid about the people I would hang out with and stuff like that. So he actually kicked me out, which I'm not really too sure why that made sense to him. But so I didn't really have anywhere to go. My best friend was a little under the same boat. He has asthma and he was a little didn't want to let me in. And so I was going from couch to couch, no car, no money coming in. nothing, you know, like I almost literally went, because one couch I stayed at was right near a convenience store, and like I was so hungry that day because they didn't have any food or whatever, and like I was so hungry I was just about ready to go beg for change, like just like the people, like, you know, some and most people look down towards. That almost was me. But my pride wouldn't let me do it. um um but it all worked out in the end anyway, because like I said, I went for a quest for millionaire mentorship on my time off away from music, or, you know, being distracted with that. And it really played like the most important part, because you can't overcome these things, or, you know, you can't deflect the things that happen to you, because good things will happen to you and bad things will happen to you. But the only thing you can control is your reaction and then your thoughts about it. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So do you think if you had not gone through, obviously, you know, being in a rough spot that you just mentioned, like for me, I obviously struggle with, everyone knows this who's watched it, with addiction, and I'm in recovery, and, you know, I have my good days, I have my bad days, but I find like, you know, I've had 4 suicide attempts, and I've been through just a lot, you know, like, I mean, everyone's been through a lot, but without me going through all that darkness, like, it's the simple days, you know, like for example, like I can just picture you like mastering a beat, you know, and like just like almost having like tears in your eyes because you're just like so proud of yourself and so happy and like how far you've come. And just, it's like the little small moments that I think when you are so low, like at the bottom of the barrel, that you're able to appreciate those moments, and you're able to stay humble. You're able to stay humble. I think humility is one of the hugest things, especially in the music industry. I feel like a lot of people, you know, you have to have those egos, you have to have that pride, but no one connects to perfection, you know, like, and that's what I like really stand for on this show is, you know, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to be kind of a little screwed up sometimes, you know, like I relate to you, Samson, because you've been through hard times. And that's why I feel like I have a connection with you. It's not because, you know, you make these amazing beats and, you know, you have this, like, you're making really good money now, like doing beats. Like people don't need to know the exact number unless you want to share that. But when you told me how far you've come in the last several months, like it absolutely shocked me, and like it made me so happy for you just to hear, you know, like almost begging for change to now making a significant amount of money doing what you love, not doing mill writing, not doing something that mommy and daddy told us to do. You're doing it on your own, and you're doing your passion. And, you know, like without all the adversity that you went through, I really don't think you'd be able to appreciate these moments as much. Don't you kind of agree? Like,
I definitely agree. I'm a firm believer in that there's no such thing as coincidence. People who believe in coincidence are just, this is not to be offensive, but like are just naive to the universe talking to you,
yes,
or giving you signs. And then, you know,
I
just
love
more
that.
recently, I've started developing this theory that, you know, I don't think that accidents are by chance either. I think every accident, you know, even though it was unintentional,
Yeah,
was supposed to happen, was part of a bigger, or you manifested that by thinking negatively, you know what I mean, somewhere down the line, you know what I mean. So I'm
yeah,
starting to realize that, like, even though I was a pretty big believer in that everything happens for a reason, but like now I'm starting to see the building blocks to it, like, you know what I
right.
mean.
Yeah, the whole picture and like behind it and stuff, for sure. Yeah, that's just amazing to think. It's just so cool because not a lot of people, you know, I actually, when I was in treatment in summertime, we're all addicts, we're all alcoholics, whatever. We're all there for something, mental health, and we're all in this big coliseum, right? And they asked us to think on the top of our head what an alcoholic looks like. And you know what we all said? We said paper bag over like a trench coat, like our mindset is still so screwed up, like as a civilization. And like we're really just like all around about people, like everyone's broken in some way. And I think like manifestation, the law of attraction, our subconscious, how we talk to ourselves, the things we think are so important. And people are naive to the fact of, you know, they're just not listening to the universe. I absolutely love that is so freaking true, because you literally have the power of like your life in your hands. And if you choose to do something, like whether negative or good, whether you don't believe in the law of attraction, it's still working in your life, you know, either way. So it's really cool when you're able to tap into that, which you clearly have. I think you're a go-getter for sure. Like you definitely just like chase, like you work your butt off, and you have knowledge is power, simple as that. And you clearly, like, if you had not gone through what you went through, you wouldn't have been motivated to, like, if our lives are going fine, like, think of a pendulum and it's just like this and nothing's really going wrong in our life, why would we want to grow? But when we are freaking tossed this way and our pendulum is just over here in this darkness, we have no other choice but to go this way, because if not, we're going to die. So I think it's like a really huge blessing that you've made it on the other side, as have I. And, you know, I hope anyone watching this knows that you can too. You know, it's not easy. And, you know, you might be in your darkest freaking days right now, but I'm telling you, there are better days ahead. You've already been through your worst day. So keep fighting. What's like the best advice that you've been given, would you say?
That I've been given?
Sorry to put you on the spot there.
The best advice that I have been given is that respect is earned, not given. And the hardest working person in the room will get it. So.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a Dwayne Johnson quote, just so you know.
Dwayne Johnson, I love that. Okay, I kind of want to play your song for people right now.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Let's do it. Okay, so everyone bear with me. I suck with technology, but we're gonna do this. I'm gonna share the screen. I hope. Oh, yeah, okay. Perfect. Can you see it there?
You bet.
Perfect. Okay, everyone, this is, how about you tell them a little bit about this first?
Sure. This is actually my very first single that I've released underneath my own brand. Last year I sold 328 beats to 186 different artists, but this year I decided to start releasing songs underneath my own brand. This is with my label mate, J Prime. Status 631's out of New York, and DJ R Double is out of Regina, Saskatchewan on the DJ cuts. So I was super proud of this record. It's going to be probably the first song off of my album. I haven't really thought about what the album name is going to be called. It's only kind of getting done in the background as far as because of the demand of me producing for other people. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm super proud of this, and let me know what you think.
Yay, everyone. Okay, here we go. Samson, let me just know if the sound's okay before I if I need to read, just go like this, okay?
Side to that side, from CA to down south, all the way to the NY. Question our flow up and try to get the door. Get the door. This side to that side.
Shout out Status 631. Shout out J Prime.
Let's go. Yeah, back on that New York shit. Fuck around, they gonna be like, look what New York did. He came to our city, made money, banged our bitch. Crazy thing, he even got our city fucking with him. So while you sitting there, I'ma help you figure it out. I'm that old school, new era, new word of mouth. That dude sicker than the flu, spreading all around. If you see him in your hood, it's respect, no doubt. So hand me the mic, I'm ready now to body these dykes. Got precision with these writtens, catching bodies on sight. Money talks, bullshit walks, I've been about that life. Where I'm from, we turn the tables, kill these busters with mics. They don't do it like I do in my city. These rappers dancing, acting suspect, looking like I'm out of their ditty. I stay busy, the reason New York stays with me. You can see the fight like Nas, all I need is one mic. Stash. I will flow off and try to get the door. Get the door. From this side to that side, from CA to down south, all the way to the NY. Question, I will flow off and try to get the door. Get the door. From this side to that side, from CA to down south, all the way to the NY. Hand me the mic, I'm going amity, spit that insanity fight. Be damned if we die, there ain't no banishing crime. You act rappers, be aware I've been dismantling rhymes. There ain't no way a single one of you can handle me. Try. I got a lot of ammo, hotter than a candle. All of y'all are scandals, probably why I'm killing all of you guys. You follow me, then feel the part of me that's always on the platter spree. I'm headed toward the green, been working, looking like a prodigy. You boss into a gator, chops I don't save her, bopping on a hater. Losses I don't take 'em, I've been ballin', trying to fill my wallet, never stop it, cause my mom don't need an acre. Time I let the world know I'm on the rise to be the greatest. Been popping, ain't shit stopping, just quit dropping. I'm cold, I've been crisscrossing, get hopping, explosive. I'm built tough as a soldier. When prime stone drop, man, it's over, so don't say that I never told you. Question, I will flow off and try to get the door. Get the door. From this side to that side, From CA to down south, all the way to the NY. No question, I will flow off and try to get the door. Get the door. From this side to that side. From CA to down south, all the way to the NY.
I like that.
Thank you. Actually, I just for the listeners, because they might have not have caught it or whatever, the cut on the hook says from this side to that side, from CA to south side, all the way to the NY. Because in CA, I'm in Canada, south side, J Prime's in Florida, and then Status is in New York. So
I love that, how like you're reaching so many people just around, you know, not just here, like in your town, right? Like the internet's so cool for that. Sorry. I just got a little Zoom notification.
yeah.
So can you just tell everyone a little bit about the song and the background and when it was written and like what, like tell us about like your creative process with the beat and all. I think it's really cool to share with people that really don't know much about music, you know, like they just listen to music. Everyone listens to music, but just the actual effort that goes into creating a beat. I've been blessed enough to see it with my own producer, and it's a really cool process. So like take people step by step through that.
Well, I mean, everyone is different, but like for that one specifically, basically, I wanted to make an EP of mostly hip hop styled beats, which means finding a vinyl sample. That was the first step, I guess, would be finding the sample. And then I would bring it into my DAW, throw it into the sampler. I'd make my chops, pitch it up, pitch it down, all depends on the song. This one, I think it got pitched down, to be honest. And I was just looking to try and make like, I've always been a big fan of DJ Premier and Classified, and they always have cuts on the hooks and stuff like that. And that was what I was trying to accomplish, was to put out like a really solid boom bap hip hop record with the DJ Premier style cuts on it. Shout out DJ or Double for that. I appreciate you. And basically because, you know, like as a producer, when I start showing people my beats and stuff, because they're a little more new age, they're like, oh, you know, you get the old hip hop heads that, you know, so what I was aiming with this song was I wanted to satisfy them first, get that out of the way. You know what I mean? Be like, okay, this guy can boom bap a little. Okay. And then like, I can't wait to drop my next single. Actually, it's going to be featuring Young Buck from G Unit.
Oh,
yeah. And Edmonton local Lil Coke. And yeah, so it should be pretty cool. We're pretty excited about that. Him and I actually got quite a few big records together coming up. We're also working on something with Bizarre from D12. So.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to hear them.
Yeah.
So let's just say, like, actually, I want to reintroduce you just in case anyone else is tuning in a little bit late. I'm Jess the Mess Yeg on Jess FM. This is my podcast TV show, and I have Samson On The Beat here. I said it.
Yeah.
He is an amazing producer from Prince Albert. I was going to say Rupert, and then I'm like, no, that doesn't work. I should be blonde sometimes. You just got to own it, right? You got to own who you are. And yeah, he's an amazing producer. Also, he started off kind of rapping, and he still does. Like we just heard his single, which is absolutely awesome. I'm so excited for people that have just heard that. And you can get it on all platforms, correct?
You bet, yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'll share that link with everyone later. And feel free, anyone watching right now, I am getting to my friend limit on Facebook. I know I've been adding you all back, but just feel free to follow me, just so you can see the link for Samson. And then also, I think you have that feature too, Samson, correct? Yeah. You can follow me. I think I got a little room left because it keeps fluctuating, but add me up or follow me on Instagram at Samson On The Beat 91. Yes, perfect. Okay, I'm just happy that people can reach you. And are you open to DMs? Are you open to people kind of? Yes. The more the merrier. I love it. That's my favorite part about it. It's not even about making the music. It's connecting with the people and like serving them and watching them walk away so happy. You know what I mean? Yes, I totally agree with that. I totally love getting you know, I mean, I don't like getting some messages, but you know, some messages
Yeah.
that love, you know, there's more good than bad ones. But so who would your dream collab be?
Drake, hands down.
Drake,
Yeah.
yes, Drizzy.
Bet.
Why Drake?
He is the staple of what success means, and you know what I mean. Like from being a half, you know, half black, half white Canadian in a surrounding like Toronto, where there's, you know, where it's not really primarily one or the other. You know, he was. It's almost like he couldn't fit in with either group. You know what I mean? If he did, he got judged by the other group. But like his mindset, his focus, his story, you know what I mean? Everybody makes fun of him because, you know, he was Jimmy on Degrassi. Well, what they don't know is his mom was sick at that time, and he was using that money to pay her medical bill, or like pay for her medical and like pay for the house and whatnot. So, you know, they can laugh all they want, but I mean, he's smart. He's done everything correctly in consecutiveness, and he's remained consistent. And like, and then his rap, like his actual wordplay is just like, it seems like I can listen to a Drake song from like 3 years ago, and that same lyric that didn't really mean anything to me then means something to me now, and like just repeatedly happens like that. So
amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love Drake, but okay, when we were talking on Zoom last week, we were talking about manifestation, and I just love talking about it. I think people need to know more about it. And you said something about just wanting music so bad, and you would, you know, for like 16 years, and you would just like, you know, cry sometimes in bed because you wanted it so bad. And I just want you to kind of tell people, just with your knowledge about manifesting, like really like, obviously back then I'm sure you didn't know that you were manifesting, correct?
yeah.
So just touch a little bit about on the mind and your own experience with the things that you have manifested, like real life examples. I think that's really key into helping people understand our real life examples. So even if there's bad things you've manifested or good things, kind of take us through the process of that.
Sure. Well, like like you were saying, back in the day, especially when I lived in Melfort. Okay, Melfort only had 5,000 people. Like I said, it was a farmer town. To be the next Drake out of that town was pretty far-fetched, you know what I mean? But so I mean, it was that reasoning. It was like almost like looking at all of my obstacles that made me envision, because instead of like worrying about the obstacles or like worrying how I was going to overcome them, I was more worried about the end goal of like, because like to me, it didn't matter if it was rap or whatever that got me to that end goal, but that's how bad I wanted it. And I mean, of course I would love to be the rapper who's like super rich and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, like that's an easy one. But so like I would lay in bed and I would want it so bad. Like I said, my mom would come down and she'd kick me off the computer. And then for another hour and a half, I'd be laying in bed and I'd just be like, oh, I just want to be like, I just want it so bad. I just want the people to love me. I just want to be able to make people happy, make people cry. You know what I mean? Like, make people feel things, you know? And, you know, of course, a Lamborghini is pretty cool too. But, so I would lay in bed and I would just envision, you know, like my house, my car, driving a nice speedboat with a, you know, gorgeous wife, couple kids or whatever. And then, you know, skip that scene in the same thought. And all of a sudden, you know, walking on the stage in front of like thousands of people and stuff. And I just had that same vision so much that, and I didn't realize I was manifesting it. But like, the funny thing is like about 2 weeks ago, I even said to my girlfriend, because we live in a really nice 5-bedroom townhouse. And, I kind of like stopped and I looked at the staircase, because the way that the floor plan works is you go up the stairs and then you can split off, and then basically it meets around, right? And so it's almost like a spiral staircase, but like it's got another one that branches off. So, and that's something I envisioned in that house all the time back in the day. And I was like, whoa, I was like, I manifested this house too. And then I'm in the process of getting a car too, a new car. And I wanted to get a BMW, but the BMW that I've really, really, really wanted, I wanted an M3. They didn't have anything like that. So I decided to go with something else, because now that I know, you know, the building blocks of it, I was like, okay, cool, because I'm going to give myself time to manifest the one I really want. Right. You know what I mean? So.
That's so cool. And you know what, I think like for people, like people always ask me, because I'm a huge manifester, like I'm got it pretty dialed down. Like I manifested my manager, I manifested the show, I manifested, you know, a Mercedes myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Without even realizing it. And I think the secret, like, I don't know if you can, if you know, you can attest to this or say, you know, I agree, but I think the secret behind manifesting, the one thing I always tell people is you can't fake it. You know, it's whatever's in your heart and your soul, and that's driving you to wake up every morning. Mm-hmm. And what it's your passion, that thing that's always in your mind. You know, like when I was a kid, like you were talking about, you know, like thousands of people and being on stage and all that stuff. Like that is the one thing I've manifested since I was probably 5 years old. I always closed my eyes, and when I was having a hard day, or when, you know, I needed to just dissociate from life, or if, like, you know, I needed something, I would close my eyes, listen to music with my earphones in, and I would be on stage, you know, usually at Rexall Place or something like that, yeah. Madison Square Garden, and just like all these people. And it's just like, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. I get goosebumps a lot, everyone, apparently today. I don't know.
Yeah, me goosebumps too.
This is a really good topic and a really good guest today. Yeah, so it's just like more so the passion that I think drives getting what you want. And like, it sounds so cliche, you know, work hard, get what you want. But when you literally die because you want something so bad, and you know, that's what you're going to get. And I feel like a lot of people screw up in life, and you know, this is just my opinion and my 2 cents, but you know, when we're told we need to, you know, I was told growing up, you know, the cliche, like you need to, you know, get good grades, you know, go to school, go to university, you know, get a good job, work a 9 to 5, and blah, like work for someone else for the rest of your life. And, you know, I tried all those things and nothing worked out. And you want to know why it didn't work out? Because that was not my destiny. And I really think your story shows that too. You know, we're told to go do these things, and it's, you know, like the cookie cutter of what success is. And it's not going to work out, because your life, the universe has already planned out for you. Your destiny is already set, I truly believe. And it's music. So that's what you're going to be successful in. And clearly that shows in your story, just in itself, you know what I mean? And I think that's like what gets me really excited about this show and things like that, is like anyone watching right now, you know, just snap out of, you know, the BS sometimes of what everyone else around you is telling you, and get to know who you are, and get to know what makes you tick, what makes you wake up in the morning. And maybe you don't know, and that's totally okay. Like for me, when I was younger, I don't know if you can agree, I was all into the name brands, and I needed, you know, validation from outside people all the time. And I had no idea who I was. I thought I was just some pretty face who was dumb. And like, you know, like I just kept in this toxic cycle. And it wasn't until I had to go through all the hardships that I went through, you know, 7 treatment centers, suicide attempts, you know, getting arrested, having a DUI, going through all these things, to realize for like life to just wake me up and be like, what are you doing? You know, music is what saved my life. And ever since I've put my whole heart into it, I've had a lot of success, and, you know, big things are coming for me in music. And clearly, like, I like your story, Samson, because just even like just the amount of success you already had with your music and your beats, and, you know, you selling lots of beats, you being able to make a living off of your music is like such an incredible feeling for me, and for anyone watching, just to know that like you can do it. Like, you know, like
anything and everything is possible. It all just depends on how bad you want it and how much action you're willing to put behind it.
Absolutely. And like you clearly, like, I don't know, like how much sleep do you usually get? Like, you know, like
I get 3 to 4 hours every night, but then there's usually one night a week where I'll sleep in for 12 hours or something like that. That's
good. Good. Just making sure you're staying, you know, healthy. Tell us a little bit about your girlfriend, if that's okay. Like, you know.
Oh, she's a sweetheart, man. She's a sweetheart. If it wasn't for her, and having the patience and understanding of my passion, and you know, she bowed out to be, she understands that she would have to come second. It was a little bit of a hard pill for her to swallow, but she swallowed it all up and figured it out all on her own, that, you know, that this is everything I've ever wanted and more. So she's cool. Like she's actually originally from the States. She was adopted. She was from somewhere, I want to say Jacksonville, Florida, or in that same county anyway.
Oh, wow.
So when she came to Canada, I think she was 7 or 8. She lived in a smaller town just outside of PA, about 30 minutes outside of where I'm from. But nowadays she just got a job like the end of November at the penitentiary, doing admin work and stuff like that. And like her mom works there too. She's been there for 15 years already. So she's pretty excited that, because she never really had like a career type job. Like she had a really good job as far as I was considered before, but but like this is like more of a career type job. And so like it gets us excited because she was only supposed to have a term position, but they kind of mentioned to her that they're just going to keep renewing term positions until something permanent opens up for her. So
that's amazing. I'm happy.
Yeah.
What's your favorite music to produce? If you had to pick, I know that's a hard question, but
it would be a toss up between like house, pop, EDM stuff. Like I would say like Chainsmokers would be like the brand I would put that one under, but either that or like straight trap music. It's what I grew up on. It's what a lot of my customers do. So I mean, I naturally just like find the joy in making that, because because like when I was rapping, you know, I was always trying to portray an image that not necessarily was myself, you know, like I mean, it was true, but like it wasn't me being myself, right? So so like it just kind of lets me find my lane in, you know, doing that. I know I don't have to go and say that, oh, I've been flipping bricks or whatever, you know what I mean? I get to just make the beats for the guys who do, you know what I mean? And so it's pretty cool, you know?
Yeah. If you wanted, so like there's probably a lot of people watching. I know, you know, in my last shows, just the mess, everyone, that's why you watch, I'm sure. But, I've had over 100,000 people watching so far, and climbing. What are like some of the most important things about you and your character that you would want people to know? Like, you know, because like people are so judgmental, you know, people look at me and they're like, oh, she must be a BITCH, or, you know, like she's an SLUT, and, you know, like just people just like are haters. But when you actually get to know me, you know, I'm a very compassionate person. I've been through a lot and I just want to help people, you know, like I feel like if anything, just be nice, you know, but also don't disrespect your boundaries. So that's for me. But what would you like want people to know about you that maybe people wouldn't know looking at you?
That I'm extremely loyal. I'm a Leo as part of my astronomy sign. So like I'm loyal to my pack, you know, like as far as that goes. And I would do anything to help out somebody who I cared about and that needed help, not even necessarily from me, but like just help in general. I have a huge soft spot for like especially now too, since like things changed for me and like I can afford to give back and like do things like that, where before I was always in a constant struggle and I couldn't really do my best to like come through on when people needed me and stuff like that. So but I mean, I always wanted to, and I always did everything I could, but I mean, like sometimes it involves financials, and like back to that point, I couldn't do it, right? So but like as far as that goes, like I go so hard for my customers. Like anybody that pays me money for a beat, and like I sell my beats extremely cheap in comparison.
Yes, you do. I wanted you to talk about that a little bit too. Just in case there's people watching that are into music, you know, like how can they get you that?
Well, like I usually charge like, I don't know, the price has slowly been increasing over time, but I mean, I started out just selling it for $20 so I could get a pack of smokes, right? Like, and then like actually,
it's amazing.
So now I'm up to about $80 a record. But it keeps changing the way that I do things, because like I would make a beat, I would sell it for $80 just like that. But now I like doing the Zooms. I like getting my customers on Zooms, build a much better relationship. And like, I'm all about the personal relationship. I feel like that has like been so crucial to my success in my journey and stuff like that with my people that I make music with. You know, and I go hard for them, because if you're paying me money for a beat, you're going to get more than just the beat. You're going to get my advice. And one thing that I kind of realized too, on social media was that, you know, I was actually quite educated just because I've been trained chasing this for so long, and that I did have a lot to offer people. So that was the free value that I decided to offer on social media, was the industry tips, because it seems like everybody's, you know, it's kind of like some Da Vinci Code puzzle, this music game, right? And everyone's just kind of lost, wandering in direction, just putting out project after project, hoping that they get signed. And it's like, for everything it took, for how long it took me to come up with all this information and figure it out for my own, I've already kind of like set aside the whole I'm going to be a rapper thing, but like, I like making beats. But if I can be the guy who like helps Canadian hip hop get to the level of where the States is at, as far as like shows and popularity and being so global and stuff like that, then that would be it. Because I started realizing that once I was able to make a living off music, there should be no reason why everybody else can't. You know what I mean? And I will give you all the tools you need, man. Like, and if I don't have something, ask me and I will find somebody who does.
I absolutely love how huge your heart is, because, you know, a lot of people in this industry get jealous, they're insecure, and, you know, that's not how you're going to get to the top, is you trying to put down others. Like, it just doesn't work. And I like people that think that works. You're embarrassing yourself, honestly. Kindness goes a long way, and the fact that you actually want to get to know your clients on a personal level, and that's how you get to know what people, they're like, how to best represent them, and how to get the best beat. Obviously, you know, like my producer has to know me on a level to know, like, hey, like, what are we going to write about today? Like my co-writers and all that kind of stuff. We have to sit in a room, and like we don't just start like writing. Do you know what I mean? He gets to know my pain, my story, what I've been through, what I want to write about that day, where I'm at that day. And, you know, for you to, like, the Zoom thing is so cool, especially in COVID, you know, to be able to get to know your clients. And the fact that you can make a living off of this, like I said earlier, is just phenomenal. And I think a lot of people, especially in Canada, have this stereotype, like, oh, he's just a rapper, like, so he's actually a drug dealer, or like something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, screw that stereotype. Music is hard work, you know, like seeing, you know, my friend, shout out to Christian Ari, he did some of my music at the beginning before I found management and stuff, and he's absolutely incredible. To see the actual process of the whole producing and the whole side of things and to get, you know, even we shot a couple videos, all my videos on my YouTube channel are shot by Christian Ari, and it takes a lot of freaking work, and, you know, he put that effort in for me, and that makes me feel special, and that makes me want to support him even more. So people think, you know, oh, like they're just putting these videos up, and, you know, I'm not saying everyone has that stereotype, but I've definitely come across people like that. And, you know, I used to be like that, like, you know, when, you know, there's so many rappers, you know, everywhere, and, you know, but like that's their passion, and that might be what's keeping them alive. And people don't need to be so harsh and judgmental. And I can speak for myself, you know, like I had to come into the industry to realize that myself, and I can admit that wholeheartedly, because I'm not the same person anymore that I was, right?
Yeah, of course.
I love that you have such a huge heart, and that you can make a living off of music, that you touch so many people. And even like looking on your Facebook, Samson, like your presence on social media, the amount of support you have is absolutely incredible.
I know, right? I'm so thankful for it every day.
Like it's amazing. I'm just like reading all these comments, and I'm like, everyone's so stoked for you to be on this show, and you have so much love and support, and like, I hope they're all watching right now, and they're super, super proud of you. I know I'm proud of you, and I'm super excited to see like where your music takes you and your producing takes you. You know, maybe we'll be collabing sometime soon. I've talked to my manager about you. Cool. And, you know, super, super, it's just, I'm honored to have met you, and maybe we'll meet in person someday after COVID. Yay, Goosebumps! Cute Goosebumps, the song. No, I'm just kidding. So we're going to wrap up here soon, but I know you wanted to, I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'm going to let you kind of do your shout outs and stuff, and then we'll say bye everyone, okay?
Perfect.
So if you had advice for like an upcoming artist right now, someone watching right now, what if there's a little boy or a little girl that are just, you know, so hungry for, you know, this, not so much the fame and the fortune, but music is their lifeline. What advice and they want to get into this and they want to be a producer, like what would you tell them?
I would tell them this would probably be the hardest part, I would say, but to source out a local, I don't want to say veteran, because, you know, that sounds like they might be hard to get a hold of, but like a local staple in the scene in the lane that you're trying to go for. And I mean, if you're limited, like say you're in a small town and you don't have somebody who's sings like Anita, then you obviously have to work with what you got. But like, I mean, you want to try and stay in the lane that you're heading towards, because you're just gonna, it's like a catalyst, right? You're gonna skip a lot of the fluff, but it is good. But like you said, knowledge is power. I am always the student. I will never be the master. Every time I learn something from everybody, whether I tell them about it or not, right? But like, you have to be open-minded like that, and you can't think that you know everything, or that you're better than anybody, or that you don't need to learn anything, because that's just it's ignorant, and knowledge is power, and you don't know how long afterwards it might come in handy. Because I literally had one situation where about like 16 different events over the course of like 4 years, all tied together.
Yes, we're talking about this. I wanted you to mention this.
Well, you know what, Jess? I would love to do a part 2, because like I still have so much more to tell, more so about manifestation and stuff like that too. So
I think that's a great idea. We'll talk again. Obviously you can do your shout outs in a second here, but we'll talk after this and we'll plan something for next week. I think, definitely we need to talk about those events, because I was like waiting and I'm like, I don't know how to mention it. I'm just like, oh my gosh, but maybe if I manifest this, you'll mention it. And of course you did. So that means we're supposed to have a part 2. Yeah. So I'm super excited. I think that's a good idea. There's a lot more to say. We'll figure out a good little plan and we'll come back next week. But I just want to give you time quick to just thank everybody, for the journey, and just go ahead.
Well, thanks to everybody, all the people listening right now. I appreciate you through the roof. Thank you, Jess and Jess FM, Jesse, everybody involved. A super big honor to be here, and the doors that is probably going to open for me. It's huge. Big shout out to Low Coke, Extended Clip Entertainment, IQ, Charismatic, Craigles O'Grady, Sick Ninja, and his little boy Jacob, Whispers Music, Sense Thief, Danielle Rose, Cyber Waffles, and HODP, Sass Savage, Jay Solo, Troy Junker, Breaking Records, my label mate Jay Prime and Day One Records, Kid City, Randy Ruthless, 2 Deep, Kid Killer, KO and Vixen, Status 631, J Fly, DJ R Double, the whole Nothing But Flame Entertainment team. And one time for my mom and dad, one time for Cindy and Harvey, Kayla and Eric, and of course my girlfriend Jessica. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. So thanks, baby.
Oh, I love that. Okay, everyone. So we're going to head out, but I just want to thank everybody for watching. And, if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling sad, no, you don't need to go through shit alone. I meant stuff alone. I'm allowed to swear, but I feel bad swearing in front of all these people. But thank you, Samson, again. We'll talk after this. And I just want everyone to have a good rest of their Sunday. Have a great week. I hope it's full of blessings, success, a lot of, let's all be humble. Let's all be kind to each other. I'm not trying to be like Ellen DeGeneres. I just feel like, I just lost one of my really good friends to an overdose yesterday. So it's been a little bit of a hard week for me. So just a reminder to everyone, it's not for, condolences or whatnot. It's just, we never know what anyone's going through. So let's just keep that in mind. If you remember anything from this show tonight, please just be nice to each other and just be gentle with everyone. So we will all see you next week, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on jessfm.ca, Facebook, Roku TV, the radio. So I'm excited for that. And Samson, we will see you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Yeah.